Ask you then, so you've been in America now for 11 years. What was one of the biggest culture shocks, I guess you could say, since moving here?
I think, so when I came here, funniest thing is when I was in China, I suck at 2 classes, English and mathematics.
Okay.
Suck at English, suck at mathematics. And I came here, I have a master's degree in statistics, and obviously I speak English for a living. And so, part of it's like, one thing is the education system is very different. I was failing my calculus class when I was in China. And here I was like, my teacher loved me, okay, in calculus class. And for me, like they taught it very differently, the way how they introduce it and stuff like that. And then I think that's one thing I feel here, definitely when you talk about culture different, everybody would say US supposed to like have a lot of freedom. And compared to China, probably more governated, right? You don't have a lot of speech freedom or something like that.
Yes.
And on top of that, I think I don't know if you know any Chinese people. It sounds like you know some like people from Asia.
Yes. Yes.
And those people are gonna hate me if I try to, stereotype it, obviously. Like most of people from Asia country, right? Asians, we're like very reserved in culture setting. Like we're more hold within. We don't like talk a lot about our own opinions. So, and I think that's one thing I came here, everybody say, oh, you should voice your opinions, right? And then you should express yourself. So, but most of Chinese people, at least, and I know also a lot of people from other Asian country, their culture is like, you do not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk too much about your own opinions, or you being raised to you're not allowed to have other opinions. I think that may be something like kind of a culture difference, and it took me a while to able to to share about my opinions. Or I think the people here would say like being more authentic, like really just speak your mind, not try to pretend, not to say something just to please you, right? Like just to say what you think. And then I think that's definitely one thing. It's very challenging, and it's funny, not funny, but the part is, so I train dogs for a living right now. And one of my specialty, the breed of dog called Taiwan dog. They actually a feral dog from Taiwan. Now, I'm not going to go in political thing about if Taiwan belongs to China type of thing. We're not go there. But everybody would agree it's Asian area. And those dogs have Asian temperament.
Okay.
The dogs are also very reserved and very cautious and fearful. And when this comes to dogs, they become extremely reactive and very difficult to train. So part of it's very funny because I would joke about it. I said, just like the people there. So when you work with dogs like that, you have to go kind of really help the owner to understand the dog's temperament.
Yeah.
And that's actually from, in a sense, the people's temperament. Those how those dogs, in a sense, to, I'm no scientist, but there's definitely, however that evolution started, that's the type of dog you're having. They're very, very cautious, very different from dogs here. Like you would say super friendly with people, just wagging all the time. Those are not the dog I work with. They're actually very cautious and could be aggressive. You try to pet them, they will try to bite you, right? Because they're like, I don't trust people. So it's funny, and I think it's really hard for people here, especially I have clients, if they are like born and raised here, they're having a really hard time to understand the dog's challenge. And the same with the dog trainers in most of the places here. And that's why make training Taiwan dogs extremely difficult. Yeah. That's part of like a culture difference there. Like if you are born and raised here, you probably would not really understand what's going on unless maybe you have a chance to go to China, say, not just visit. It's very important here, right? When you're a visitor, you actually don't learn really
Yes.
what's going on. If you really live there and start like living there to understand how things actually work, then you probably get a better understanding of, oh my God, that's where a lot of things come from. I have a friend who's Chinese and her husband's Caucasian American, right? And they had to live in China for 2 years. And we meet up after they came back to the States, and we asked him how he felt about China.
Yeah.
And he said, living in China actually gave him a lot of ideas and understanding of why his wife acting as the way she is.
Yeah.
But you would not know if you're not living there.
Yeah.
Just how the I guess the culture shape you and how things are working. I think that's definitely a huge difference
For sure.
between here and the US. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.